Welcome to Fearless with Jason Whitlock. I'm Jason Whitlock, your host. Thank you for joining me. As promised yesterday, we're going to be joined today by John Darjon, the former associate with Deion Sanders that has sued Deion's son, Shiloh Sanders, and won his lawsuit for an assault that left John disabled. We unpacked all of this yesterday and promised you that John would be in studio with us to expound on the case and humanize the case and explain the case in detail. He is here with us in Nashville. We'll have a 90-minute, 2-hour conversation today talking with John about the case and hearing from him personally about what's going on. We want to start off by first thanking our great friends at Good Ranchers, who are the sponsors. Today's episode is brought to you by Good Ranchers. Good Ranchers is locking in your price until 2026 when you subscribe to any of their boxes of 100% American-made meat and seafood. Use my promo code FEARLESS at goodranchers.com and save 10%. So, John, without further ado, welcome to Fearless.
Thank you so much for having me.
Glad you made it all the way here from the Dominican Republic.
That's right.
Hope your travels were safe. And so we spent a lot of time yesterday getting the audience up to speed on what happened, I believe, in 2015.
That's correct. Yes.
And so there's, this altercation, and you're working as a security guard and baseball coach at this high school that Deion's young son, Shiloh, is attending. But I've already unpacked all that. First thing I want to do is have people understand exactly who you are. And so walk us through a bit of where'd you grow up? You were involved in Major League Baseball for a time. Walk us through a bit of your history.
Okay, I'm originally from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I played baseball my entire life. My parents would always give back to the community and do a lot of different things. So that kind of was instilled in me. We always had foster kids at the house. So later on down the line, I became a foster parent. But from there, I got a scholarship to Dallas Baptist University, and I was drafted in 1997.
Baseball scholarship?
Yes, sir, baseball scholarship.
Yep.
And I was drafted in 97 by the New York Yankees.
What position?
6th-round pick, center field. So I had speed. I was fast. It's kind of ironic. My nickname was called Deion Jr. because I ran the same speed as Deion Sanders. So it's kind of funny how the world works.
How old are you? What years are you growing up in Louisiana?
I was raised the whole time there. So from when I was born all the way up to 16 years old, and then I got a scholarship to Dallas Baptist University.
What year did you get the scholarship to Dallas Baptist?
That was 95, 96, somewhere around. Yep, 95, 96.
And so you played a year or two at Dallas and then got drafted?
That's correct, yes. So I really enjoyed, being in Dallas. I did a lot of stuff in Dallas, and I did a lot of things.
Hold on for a second. Walk us. Tell us a little bit about your baseball career.
Okay.
You get drafted by the Yankees. What happens?
Okay. So after I was drafted, I ended up getting injured about 3 or 4 years later. I never made it to the major leagues, but I met a lot of people, and I played in a couple movies. I played in the movie For Love of the Game. I was one of the main characters in For Love of the Game. I played shortstop in For Love of the Game. Kevin Costner struck me out a couple times in For Love of the Game. So, yeah, that was my 2 minutes of fame right there. So, so I really enjoyed playing with the Yankees. I had a really bad knee injury. I had to have surgery, so I was released from the Yankees. And then life moves on, but my whole time I always would help the community out because it was instilled in me, from my parents.
So you're in the Yankees organization. You went to Dallas Baptist. When did you come back to the Dallas area?
That was roughly, approximately I want to say 2001, 2002, somewhere around there, yeah.
And so you come back to the Dallas area. Do you immediately How did you connect with Deion Sanders?
So I was always doing community work in the DFW area, but we ran into each other at some sports bar, and Deion had heard about me. I was doing a lot of good humanitarian work. I had just received the NAACP Humanitarian Award,
Humanitarian work such as
you name it. I was doing things with the community, feeding the homeless people. I was doing a lot of things with
Didn't you have your own baseball camp?
My own baseball camp. I had my own baseball program. We had about 6 baseball teams that we would go around, and we were the only inner city baseball program in the DFW area, and we would go around playing in these big tournaments. And we had a couple teams that were very good.
And so you were about to tell me how you connected with Deion.
Yeah, so Deion reached out to me. We were in Duncanville, Texas, and I'll never forget, he called me over and said, "Hey, man, I heard about all the great things you're doing in the DFW area." And I said, "Man, thanks so much. I appreciate it." He said, "I want to start a baseball program." And I said, "Oh, okay." He said, "Well, why don't you drop your program and Beyond Baseball, Dallas Baseball Alliance, and bring all your kids, and you can kind of come under my umbrella, The Truth." And I said, well, wait a minute,
Deion's thing was called The Truth, or was it called Prime Prep?
I think it was called The Truth. That was the name of it, The Truth. So he had a nonprofit organization called The Truth. Now, the Prime Prep was a school that he opened up. But so I said, "Well, Deion, just wait a second." It was so he said, "Just do a camp for me." I said, "Okay, I'll do a camp for you." So I did some camps for him. I know, and he loved it. He loved it. He said, "Man, I love what you're doing." He said, "Well, what you think?" I said, "Well, I'm gonna keep my organization, but if you ever need my help, I'll help you out, Deion, no problem." And man, it's crazy because time goes by, 2-3 years go by, and I run into Deion again because I am at the school. His school closed down, and then he transferred.
Prime Prep closes down.
Prime Prep closes down, right.
And then you're working as
Focus Learning Academy as the security guard and varsity baseball coach.
in Focus Learning Academy. Is that a charter school?
Charter school, yes, sir, charter school.
And so around what year is this that you say Deion school shuts down? And
2015, yep.
in 2014,
2015, somewhere around there.
And you're working at Focus Learning, and Deion wants to bring the kids from Prime Prep
Yes.
over to Focus Learning.
That's right, because his school had closed down, the charter school closed, they had lost funding. And, I was okay with it. I talked to Leroy McClure about it, that's the owner of the school. And he said, yeah, so he ended up bringing him over as the sports director at Focus Learning Academy, Deion Sanders. So now Deion's my boss because I'm the baseball coach, varsity baseball coach, and he's the sports director.
So he basically becomes the athletics director at Focus Learning.
That's right.
And now you're working for him as the baseball coach.
That's right.
But you're also a security guard at the school.
Yeah, because you can't just do security work. You have to do something else, So, I'm sorry, you can't be a baseball coach. You have to be a security officer or a school teacher or something like that. Yeah.
Got you. And so how did you enjoy working with or for Deion?
Well, I never had a problem with Deion. I had heard some things about him. I heard everybody would put it on paper with Deion, put it on paper. I would always hear that. So, but I knew he was arrogant. I knew he was kind of cocky. And I never had a real bad, I didn't have any problems with him. But until the situation happened, because I always kept my distance when it came down to celebrities. I wasn't like I would see Deion walking around a lot, but I wasn't starstruck.
So this event or the altercation or however we want to term it with Shiloh happened very quickly after Shiloh gets to the school?
And within 2 or 3 weeks. So the kids transferred there. I would say it was roughly 100, 150 kids. Shiloh, it makes his presence known immediately. He's one of the toughest and roughest kid in the school. He was getting in trouble, always going to the principal's office. Just.
So this is 2015. He's a freshman. He's a sophomore.
Yes, sir, freshman. So Shiloh was held back. His dad held him back. So he was supposed to be in the 10th grade, but he was in the 9th grade. So, so he made his presence known. Shador, he was there also, but Shador was always yes, sir, no, sir. Thank you so much, so it was totally different.
And so walk us through that day. I believe it's September 17, 2015.
Yeah.
September, very early in the school year, obviously. What happened?
So I'm going on my lunch break. I'm headed to Subway, and the principal runs out to me, and she said, Coach John, before you go to Subway, before you go on your break, please, I need you to do me a favor. I said, okay, that's fine. What's going on? Go get Shiloh. He's shooting dice in class. He started a crap game in class. I was like, what? A crap game? And I was like, what's going on? She said, yeah, just go get the dice, get the bag, get him, bring him to the principal office. So I said, okay. So I walk over to the class. The teacher's like, get Shiloh, please get him out. I was like, okay, no problem. I said, Shiloh, come with me. And Shiloh's like, oh man, I want to know who snitched on me. Who snitched on me? Who snitched on me? I was like, don't worry about who snitched on you. You come with me, we'll talk about it. So he grabs his bag. I said, give me your bag. He said, I'm not giving you my bag. I was like, okay, well, give me the dice out the bag. He said, I don't know what you're talking about. So I said, all right, I'm not going to put up with this. Let's just go to the principal office. I'll let the principal handle everything. And halfway down the hallway, he stops me. He said, wait a minute, hold up. Do you know who my daddy is? I was like, I knew who he was, but I was like, no, who is your daddy? He's like, oh, my daddy's Deion Sanders. We took over the school and my daddy run this. If you take me to the principal office, this is probably gonna be your last time working here. You might lose your job, And he's looking at me, just kind of with a cocky, arrogant attitude, And I was like, man, I'm a grown man. You're not about to threaten me with your dad and everything. I'm doing my job. He said, all right, I gave you a warning. Just if you got to go find another job somewhere, it's on you. I was like, okay. So we're walking down the hallway, get him there. Coach Hart, he asked him, say, give me your
Coach Hart.
So Coach Hart he actually works for Deion. He left from Prime Prep, and now he became a part of the school. He was one of the disciplinary people at the school. So Deion brought about.
Came with Deion from Prime Prep.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so Coach Hart is with him right now also. So we're in Colorado.
That's right. He's the linebackers coach.
That's right, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
So he's been following him from Jackson State all the way to Colorado. So Coach Hart said, man, we just left your dad's school and you're doing the same thing you did at Prime Prep. And he's like, give me your bag. He's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, give me the dice. So I think Coach Hart went in to get the dice and he couldn't find them. And he said, you know what? His dad was out of town. He said, when your dad gets back in town, I'm gonna let your dad handle this. He said, but Coach John, I need you to take him to the ISS department. That's called in-school suspension. And I said, okay, no problem. I was like, good riddance. I can go get my Subway sandwich. Everything's over with. I'm good, easy peasy. So I take him there, and when I'm walking out the ISS office, I hear the ISS guy says, the staff member, he says, you're not allowed to be on your phone. And he's like, oh man, whatever. I gotta call my mama. I gotta tell my mama what's going on. And so I leave. Within 5 minutes, I get a call on the walkie-talkie. The ISS guy says, Coach, can you please come get Shiloh Sanders? He's disrupting my entire ISS class. So I said, okay, that's fine. So I brought him, I picked him up. He's on the phone with his mom. He's walking around. This is going on for an hour. Walking around. I said, you're not allowed to be on your phone. You're not allowed to be on your phone. It's against policy. You're not allowed to be on your phone. Oh, I hate my dad, and I just want to live with my mama. And I was like, I don't know anything about that. I said, just come back to the principal. We get back to the principal's office. Coach Hart is not there. They're in some type of meeting or something like that. I'm like, oh my goodness. I can't go to Subway. I can't go on my break. I got to hold on to Shiloh. So I'm holding on to Shiloh for, when I say hold on, I mean I'm walking around with him. He's pacing up and back and forth in the school, in the PE area. He's disrupting everything. And I said, you know what? I got to get him off the phone. So I said, hey, Shiloh, you can't be on the phone, but I'll give you my phone. You come into my office, and I will let you talk to your mom as long as you want to. He said, you promise? You promise? I said, yeah, I promise. He said, all right, because they trying to keep me away from my mama, and I just want to live with my mama. And I was like, okay, I don't know nothing about that. I'm just, okay. So we get to my office. I said, what's your mom's phone number? I put it in, and I hand him the phone.
This is a school phone, not a cell phone?
This is my personal phone.
Your personal cell phone?
My personal cell phone.
So someone would say, why not let him just stay on his own phone if you're going to...
Because he's not allowed to be on the phone, and it's against school policy. So I'm trying to get him to calm down, and I'm trying to get him to sit down in my office because he's disrupting the entire school. All you can hear up and down the hallway and in the gymnasium, Mama, I hate this school. Come get me. I hate my daddy. Come get me. Come pick me up. The whole time. And they're like, Coach, you gotta get him under control. I was like, I'm trying to. And that's my job. I've been doing that for 4 years at the school. And I would always get a call on the walkie-talkie, and I would take the kid to the principal office, easy peasy. But oh my God, it was totally different with Shiloh because he wouldn't listen, and his dad wasn't in town. He wasn't allowed to talk to his mom because I think she had lost custody of Shiloh, and Deion Sanders had custody of him. So I had a problem. I didn't know what to do. Nobody was around to help me out. So what I had to do was I said, well, I need to stop this madness. I brought him to my office and I said, Shiloh, get off your phone, and I promise you can use my phone and talk to your mom until we get this stuff situated. So that from there, I get up. He's sitting down for 10, 15 minutes, and Deion Sanders' assistant knocks on the door. I said, come on in. And Deion, she's holding her phone up. She's holding her phone up like this. I got Deion on the phone, and he's not allowed to talk to his mom. I was like, okay, well, all right. I said, and then she said, Deion wants to talk to you. So I said, hey, Deion, what's going on? Hey, John, in Jesus' name, I'm your brother in Christ. I need you to get your phone, and I need you to get all of Shiloh's phones. And I was like, well, man, I finally got him calmed down, Deion. He said, I understand that she's recording you. She's trying to set the school up. She's trying to set everybody up. Grab your phone and hang it up because she's recording everything you're doing right now. I was like, all right, well, and I know. And he said, I have custody. I have custody of Shiloh Sanders. Pilar doesn't. I said, okay. I said, Shiloh, give me my phone back. And I said, your dad says I have to get my phone back. You're not allowed to talk to your mom. He threw me the phone and it fell in my chest, and he's like, oh, this is BS, and he was cursing and everything. And then he storms out of my office. And I said, and I still have the phone, his assistant's phone. I said, Deion, he just stormed out. He said, oh man, that's fine. He said, but I need you to go get the phone. I said, well, I have my phone. He said, no, I need you to go get Shiloh's phone because he's going to get back on the phone with his mom. And he was right. He got on the phone. He's in the gymnasium walking around. Mama, come pick me up. Mama, come pick me up. Come pick me up. So he said, do me a favor. In Jesus' name. You have no idea what I'm going through. I'm your brother in Christ. Go get the phone. And I said, okay. And he's not allowed to be on the phone anyway. So Shiloh's not allowed to be on the phone. So he's walking around, and I have the right, because I'm the security guard, licensed security guard, to go get the phone from him. Because sometimes I read the comments on from TMZ and they say, oh, he had no right to go try to get the phone and blah, blah, blah. I can go get the phone. So I said, hey, man, he stands up. I'm walking towards Shiloh. He's walking out like he's getting ready to walk out the building. And I said, your dad said I got to get the phone. And I said, give me the phone. I'm not playing with you. Give me the phone. So I grabbed his arm, and I don't grab it hard. I just try to stop him because he looks like he's about to walk out of the building. So I put my hand on his arm, and he jerks away like really hard, and he grazes me. It kind of grazes me, and he just barely misses me. And then and I'm like, man, he almost hit me. And I didn't see another punch coming because I'm still looking down at the phone. And then he roundhoused me. He resets, roundhoused me, and hit me right in my chest and up and drove it into my neck. And I fell back. I didn't fall down to the ground, but I fell back. And I was like, man, Shiloh just hit me. And and I heard him say something when he hit me. He's like, mother, something. And he hit me and I fell back. And I said, okay, now I got to do something. So I start walking toward him to restrain him. And then I feel two more blows to my face. Boom, boom. And I fall back some more. And I said, okay, now I got to use my grown man strength to pin him up against the glass. So I took my arm and just drove him into the glass. So he wouldn't hit me, because in the state of Texas, if somebody puts their hand on you, you can defend yourself. So I put my hand on his chest, pinned him into the glass, and I said, we're going down to the ground. We're going down to the ground. And he's saying, oh, I can't breathe. I cannot breathe. Mama, he's choking me. I can't breathe. And I'm hearing that. Everything's going so fast. He's like, I can't breathe, Mama, I can't breathe. I said, we're going down to the ground. We're going down to the ground. And I got my hand in his chest right here. And he's like, I can't breathe. Mama, he's choking me. And then he started spitting on me a little bit, and drool is coming out. And so I finally get him down to the ground. He's squiggling and moving around, and we get him on the ground. I kind of sit on his buttocks area. And then I said, put your hands behind your back. And I get his hands and I started putting them behind his back. And then that's when the principal comes up and said, Coach, we got it from here. And some other people came around, some staff members, and I stand up and I say, okay, you guys got it, right? She says, yeah, we got it. This is Miss Nash, the principal. And I'm walking away, and within like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, I start urinating on myself. I'm like, what the heck? What's going on? I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I've been in a couple tussles before, so I'm like, I'm not nervous. Everything is good, So, and then my fingertips started going numb, and then my tongue started getting numb, and I'm like, and then my equilibrium, I felt a little dizzy. I was like, what's going on? So I'm walking down the hallway. And I see a teacher, and she said, Coach, you okay? And I said, I don't know. And I'm leaning up against the wall. And she said, Coach, you got water running down your leg. And I said, yeah, I know. I'm peeing on myself, and I don't know why I'm peeing on myself. And she said, yeah, we need to call the ambulance. And so Mr. McClure comes. She calls Mr. McClure. Mr. McClure comes. That's the CEO of the school. Focus Learning Academy. He comes, he's like, I said, Mr. McClure, let me tell you what happened. He said, don't worry about what happened right now. He said, you got to get checked out. He said, the ambulance should be pulling up any minute. So I hear the ambulance. We get there. I get into the ambulance. They start working on me. They put IV in me. They start doing my blood pressure and all of that stuff. And they drive me to the hospital. And they realized, man, you have they did a CAT scan and MRI, and they said, you have very bad cervical injury. And I said, is it a broken neck? He said, no, it's not broken, but everything has been shifted in your neck. You have spinal damage. And that's why you have tingling and numbness going on. And I said, okay. I said, well, what's next? They said, looks like we're going to have to do emergency surgery on you. So a day and a half went by. Next day and a half went by. I had to have this major spinal surgery. I hope I'm flowing right now. And
So you have spinal surgery, and what are the ramifications for that? Were you able to recover? What is?
So it was a five. I want to say I've had 3 surgeries. I want to say I had a 4 or 5 level neck fusion. They had to go in and give me a 5 level neck fusion. I'm gonna say a 5 level neck fusion. It's either 4 or 5. So I had to learn how to walk again. I was going through therapy. I was going through treatment. And during that time, I reached out to Deion Sanders. I called him. I had his cell phone. I called him. He didn't answer. So, I'm just thanking God that I can walk again and I'm not paralyzed. So,
I want you to clarify one thing, because one of the most interesting things that you're alleging here is that Deion Sanders on the phone begged you to confront his son and to get that phone back, and he made it about y'all's shared faith.
Yes.
That mustard you're putting on the story, or that's exactly what happened?
That's exactly what happened. Yeah, yes. I mean, Deion would always use God ever since I've been knowing Deion. Jesus, God this. We would be at a baseball game or a football game. Oh, dear God, please get us out of this inning. Please get out. He would always do that. So, but yeah, that was his exact word. John, in Jesus' name, I'm your brother in Christ. In Jesus' name, please get the phone. You have no idea. My ex-wife is kind of cuckoo. She's kind of crazy. You have no idea. Please get the phone.
And so this is Pilar, and I think it's been reported, and it's kind of well known, Deion and Pilar had a volatile relationship.
Right, yeah, that's true. I had no idea. I didn't know anything about what they were going through, because I wasn't never into all the hoopla with Deion and Pilar and all of that stuff. But hey, after...
In finding out about this, though, I'm sure you probably got a deeper understanding. And so Deion's motivation isn't really about Shiloh as much as it is about the dispute between him and Pilar and stopping Shiloh from communicating with his mother, because...
Right. Now that I realize everything has, went on, and now over time I'm like, oh, wow. Deion was really, really against Pilar, and he didn't like Pilar at all. And that's, so that's what it was all about. Shiloh wanted to live with his mother. Deion Sanders was like, no, I have custody. And I didn't know it was that complicated at the time. But now that I look back, yeah, like his mom is not allowed to be talking to him. His mom can't talk to him. She just got out of jail or something. They said something. She just got out of jail and she can't talk to him. I have custody. We went to court. I have custody. In Jesus' name, I need you to go get the phone.
You had only known, or Shiloh had only been at the school for 2 or 3 weeks at the time.
Right.
Did he have any sort of reputation at the school? What?
Well, it's funny you say that. The first time I met Shiloh he bought everybody in his classroom pizza. So I'm at the front desk talking to the receptionist. Here comes a pizza man with 25 boxes of pizza. And I opened the door up for the pizza man. He says, for Shiloh Sanders. I said, Shiloh Sanders? That's Deion Sanders' son. I said, Mr. Pizza Man, I don't know if it was Domino's, Pizza Hut, I don't know what it was, but Mr. Pizza Man, kids are not allowed to order pizza for anybody. It's just against the rules. He's like, okay. So the pizza man turns around. I see Shiloh Sanders running down the hallway, Coach, that's me. I was like, what you talking about? That's you. I ordered the pizza. He said, don't worry. I ordered the pizza for the whole class. So, nobody won't be complaining. I said, you're not allowed to order pizza for the class because people have allergies. We don't want anybody to get sick. It's against school policy. It's against all school policy, anywhere you go. He was like, what? I said, no. He said, Coach, you good. If you want 3 slices, I'll give you 3 slices. I said, Shiloh, I don't want no pizza. It's against the policy. And he looked at me up and down. He checked me up and down like I was small. And he's like, he started mumbling something. He started cursing up on his mouth. I said, what'd you say? He said, nothing. And so he puts his credit card back in his pocket and he walks off. And I tell the pizza man, I said, Mr. Pizza Man, I'm sorry. You have to take that pizza back. Yeah. So that was my first encounter with Shiloh Sanders.
A little bit entitled, a celebrity.
Yeah.
A little bit. What was were you well within the school's protocols and what's standard operating procedure for a security person at a school in how you conducted yourself with Shiloh?
Yeah, 100%. I've probably restrained some kids, maybe I would say in the 5 years I was security officer, maybe 15, 20 times. And, but I've never had a kid to attack me. So it's, they always teach us as a security officer. When I went to school, they always would tell us, if somebody hits you, you have the right to defend yourself and to restrain them so they won't hurt themselves or hurt you any further. So, if somebody's acting up in class, I've done that many a times where somebody acting up in class, the teacher says, hey, little Johnny is throwing pencils and he's acting crazy. I would, take him down to the ground, hold him and restrain him. Say, okay, when you calm down, I'm gonna let you up and then we're gonna go to the principal office. I've done that numerous times. So I've just never had somebody to attack me. And so that was shocking. When I just remember the exact time when it happened, it just keeps going.
Were there witnesses that backed up your story?
Oh yeah, it was witnesses, 2 witnesses that backed it up. So
Who?
It was Miss Haynes, Sandra Haynes, and she was the front desk receptionist. And then we had Coach Shields, he was the PE coach there. So they wrote a statement. They said, oh, Coach, we saw everything. I saw when Shiloh hit you. I'm getting ready to write a statement right now.
And Child Protective Services were eventually called in to do an investigation?
Yeah, and it gets complicated right there because when I'm in the hospital and I don't know anything about Child Protective Services, because usually when you take a kid down and you don't have to call Child Protective Services, nothing's called, he gets in trouble, he gets suspended, and he goes home. That's what usually happens. So later on, I find out that Shiloh calls Child Protective Services on me. So I'm in the hospital. I don't know anything about this. So they start their investigation, and they interviewed Deion Sanders. And Deion Sanders says nothing but great things about me. He says, oh.
Child Protective Services interviews
Deion Sanders.
And Deion backs you up.
100%. I know I'm fast forwarding a little bit, but even in court, the judge is like, wow, Deion Sanders said all this great stuff about you. He says, John Darjon didn't do anything wrong. My son, if he keeps this up, he's going to be in prison. And Deion has a lawyer standing right next to him while he's giving his testimony to CPS.
That's a guy named, was it John Hamm? Or
Jordan Hamm.
Jordan Hamm.
That was who interviewed Deion Sanders, yeah. Jordan Hamm. So Jordan Hamm's writing everything down, documenting everything in front of Deion Sanders' lawyer. He's saying, John Darjon handled the situation with no problem. He did exactly what he needed to do. He did everything properly.
And this is within a few days of the incident?
I would say about a week.
A week of the incident?
When investigation's going on. So
why did you get terminated?
I didn't get terminated. That's where it gets funny. I've never been terminated in my life, but Ruta Nash had something against me.
Ruta Nash.
The principal, I'm
Gotcha.
sorry. The principal, Ruta Nash, had something against me. So she told CPS that I was terminated. So she writes, they do a fake termination letter, and they give it to CPS. And Ruta Nash does not turn in the two witnesses that I just talked about, Miss Sandra Haynes and Coach Shields. So CPS doesn't have that. They only have the paper where it says, John Darjan has been terminated from the school. So, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Where was I?
Let me put you back on track.
Okay.
So you're saying not terminated, and so.
Okay, yeah. So now we have Leroy McClure. He does an investigation. And
Leroy McClure, the CEO of the school.
He does an investigation, and he finds me not guilty. I didn't do anything wrong. I handled the everything correctly. So Leroy McClure is like, John, you're good. Here's your paperwork. Sign off on it. If you can come back, I pray that you can come back to the school and start working again as a security officer, and your job is here waiting for you. I said, okay, Mr. McClure, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to come back. So, because they said that it's very severe, it's very bad. So, Miss Ruta Nash, they wrote this fake incident report, this fake report, and CPS is thinking I'm fired. And Leroy McClure and the school knows that I'm not fired, and in the paperwork, it says that I can come back anytime I want to.
Abortion has been the greatest sin in our history as a country, and it happens every single day. And unfortunately, overturning Roe v. Wade was only the first step in a long list of steps towards eventually cleansing our country of that horrific stain on its conscience. The Ministry of Preborn empowers young expectant mothers in crisis to choose life. Preborn has rescued hundreds of thousands of babies' lives through ultrasound. When a woman considering abortion visits a preborn center, she gets to hear her baby's heartbeat and meet that precious child on ultrasound. And it's a divine encounter. The majority of the time, she will choose life for her baby. I'm proud to be affiliated with an organization that's not only working to save lives, but is succeeding. Preborn has a passion to save unborn babies from abortion and see women come to Christ. Over the past 15 years, preborn centers have counseled over 450,000 women considering abortion, and more than 200,000 of those babies have been saved. Those are amazing numbers, but let's do even better. Will you help rescue babies' lives? To donate, dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, keyword baby, or go to preborn.com/fearless. Ruta Nash.
She didn't like me.
Had a problem.
Yes, she didn't like me. Her and Miss Bird, they didn't like me. And Miss Bird was the superintendent. So Ruta Nash is the one that wrote everything up, and she told CPS that I choked Shiloh. So Ruta Nash wrote a statement saying that I choked Shiloh Sanders. So I just wanted to get to that. And she never turned that in to the school or Leroy McClure, the CEO of the school. So CPS is thinking, oh, well, hey, he's.
What did she have against you? What's her motive?
I saw her with another staff member the year before doing some sexual favors, I'll put it that way, and me and the kid saw it. So I'll say it like this lightly. If I would have saw it by myself, I would have just closed the door and I would have just been fine with it. I wouldn't have reported it. She could have done that with the whole school. I don't care. That's fine. But the kid saw it. And me being a foster parent and doing all the things in the community, I know I had to report it. And guess what? The next day, the kid is running on his tippy toes. His mom is dragging him across the parking lot. And he's going to tell, and come to find out, Mr. Leroy McClure came later on that day and said, hey, Coach, did you told me about what happened, but the little kid brought the mom And
So whatever this allegation is, it involves her and another adult, not her and a student.
that's right.
I just want to be clear on that.
Another staff member, yes, another staff member. So the kid saw it. So she denied it. She said, he's lying. I don't have a reason to lie. I know what I saw. The kid saw it also. So anyway, so Mr. McClure said, nope, we don't have proof. Just let it be. Just let it be. And I said, okay, that's fine. So ever since then, she always was trying to get me back. And that was the perfect storm to get me back.
Okay, so you're in a school, it's 2015. Most of these schools and buildings, they have security footage, and we've played some of the security footage, and we talked about this yesterday. Walk us through, because there's better security footage, but you don't have access to it. Somehow Deion got access to it.
Right. So everything goes down. What is the name? Workman's Comp. Workman's Comp files a complaint against Deion Sanders. He files a lawsuit on Deion Sanders. So before I get to the surveillance videos, Deion finds out, TMZ grabs the story, and TMZ says Deion Sanders is being sued, or Shiloh Sanders is being sued, and Workman's Comp is suing. So Deion Sanders probably says in his head, I don't know what's going on. So he calls Leroy McClure and says, I need the video surveillance. Leroy McClure says—
the incident between you and Shiloh.
Yeah, that's right. I need all the surveillance videos. I need him shooting dice in class. I need him, he knocked out the kid the next day also for snitching on him. I need all those videos. Leroy McClure says, we are not releasing any videos right now. We're investigating everything. We're not releasing anything. Deion takes us upon himself to reach out to one of our staff members, the IT guy, and he says, I need you to steal the videos.
How do you know this?
Oh, because Deion Sanders says it in the deposition. He said, he didn't say steal. He said, I got him to take it on the down low. I had somebody to slide in and get it, whatever his words are. You know, it's in my documentary. But he says, I had somebody to slip and go in and get it. He couldn't do it expeditiously. He had to slide in and get it on the down low. That's called stealing. When Leroy McClure says, you are not going to get the videos right now. Hold on. We're under investigation. And then he calls the IT guy and said, I need you to take all the videos. And the IT guy takes the videos. So that's how he got his hands on the videos. So now guess what? We had videos of Shiloh shooting dice. We had videos, alternate angles. So if you look at the video that we have, it only shows me pinning Shiloh up against the glass and taking him down. What about the other videos? 1, 2, 3, 4 different video cameras that we don't have access to. Deion got rid of those. He got rid of those, and now we didn't have them for court. We didn't have them at all. We don't have the video of Shiloh shooting dice in class. And Deion admits to the CPS guy, I witnessed Shiloh shooting dice in class. How did you witness Shiloh shooting dice in class if you don't know where the videos are? So he pretends like the videos got accidentally erased or something like that. So we never saw the videos. We never saw the videos because Deion Sanders had someone to steal the videos, and now the videos are completely gone.
If I'm right, through our research, doesn't the IT guy basically cop to Deion paid me to give him the videos or paid me to get the videos?
Well, I heard that he got paid. It's allegedly.
Gotcha.
I don't know if he got money, but you know, stuff goes around and you hear about things. But
I want to play this clip. We played it yesterday. This is Deion, I believe, getting questioned by your lawyer, I believe, in this clip. And I find it somewhat fascinating. We played it yesterday, but I want to play it for you. and get your reaction. I think this is a 2 or 3 minute clip. Let's play it.
Did you ever look at the video of the altercation?
Yeah.
Before CPS interviewed you?
They didn't have it then. We weren't able to secure it by then.
Focus wasn't able to secure it for?
Focus didn't have the video at that point.
Did you ask to see it?
Of course I asked to see it.
Okay, and so do you know kind of how their video camera system worked there?
Yes.
So when you're asking to see it, I'm assuming that would have been pretty close in time to when you returned to town after all this has
This the
happened.
next day.
Okay, so around the 18th or 19th, something like that. Who would you have gone to request to see it?
I know head of security wasn't going to give me the video.
Who's head of security?
I have no idea, but whoever it was, they weren't going to give me the video. I forgot who, someone slipped and gave, not slipped, but they manipulated and gave us the video. That's how we got our hands on the video. It's not like the school provided the video for us.
And who did you request at the school to provide it?
I don't know who it was that gave us that video.
But I mean, did you make it, and I know
Of course.
you're making it sound like, Mr. Sanders, that somebody sort of on the DL, on the download, gave you that video.
They did.
Okay, that's what I thought. My question is a little bit different. Before you got it that way, did you make a formal request kind of up front to go to
Yes.
somebody you thought was in charge to say, can we see the video?
Yes.
Who did you go to?
We don't have the video. That's what I'm sorry, that was the response to the video. I don't recall the names. It could have been Mr. McClure, it could have been Mrs. McClure. I know when it comes to my child, I probably most likely went to the top, and they were the top to see the video. It was no one else that I could go to in that regard.
So you think either Mr. McClure, Miss McClure, anybody else?
I don't foresee anybody else having that ability.
Okay, and your recall is that regardless of which of them you asked, whoever it was said, we don't have the video.
Right.
And then ultimately somebody else at the school kind of went and got the video for you and provided it. And would they have made a copy, or did they just show it to you?
Trying to think of this guy's name. He got terminated from the school. He made a copy of it. He sent it to me by email.
And is this during the time you're still working there?
Yes.
I mean, this is close in time, yes, to the event?
Yes. I forget this guy's name. He was he was one of the JV or freshman basketball coaches.
Do you know who he's talking about there?
Yeah. I don't want to say the guy's name because he has a job, and I don't want to just say his name. But the guy, the IT guy that worked he's the one that stole the videos for him. So I don't even know if the IT guy knew that Deion talked to Mr. McClure, and Mr. McClure said no. So I'm not sure. I don't know how it happened, but I know for sure that Deion asked the IT guy to steal the videos.
And so Deion's being evasive there, but I'm just wondering, as a father, are you at all sympathetic to Deion? He's trying to protect his youngest son.
Well, I don't. When you're talking about Shiloh Sanders,
Yeah.
I really just don't understand why would he do all of that lying, and all he had to do was just sit down and talk to me. So I don't feel sympathetic because he could have handled it a different way. We didn't have to go through none of this. I tried to talk to Deion Sanders. So I feel sympathetic in the way because I am a parent, and his son was out of control. And he was trying to control his son, but by going and switching the story up and changing his story, I don't feel sympathetic at all about that.
And probably Deion, if Deion doesn't request that you go get Shiloh and get that phone from him and stop him from talking to his mother, you're probably never in this situation.
Oh my goodness, I think about that. Yeah. I think about that all the time. So sometimes I think about me going to getting in my car and going to Subway sandwich, get that Subway sandwich, and and not going to get Shiloh from
The class.
From the classroom. So anyway, I'm sorry. I apologize.
No worries. And so, Deion, if what you're saying is true, Deion knows that he pushed you, compelled you in harm's way.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And I didn't see it coming. You know, I was just I was doing my job, and Deion asked me, and Deion was out of town. So, yeah.
So I want to go over the date. That happened on September 17, 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Have you and Deion ever talked one-on-one since September 17th?
Not one time. I've tried to reach out to him. It's been.
He didn't come see you in the hospital.
He didn't come visit me in the hospital. He didn't say, "Hey man, I know my son did you wrong." He flipped the script and sent a piece of video to TMZ and said, "I was the aggressor." Said I attacked his son, and he said that.
When did this happen?
He told TMZ this. Yeah.
When?
I think it was. I don't know the exact date, but when Workman's Comp filed their lawsuit on Deion Sanders, that's when it happened, and you can see.
You filed a lawsuit in June of 16.
Workman's Comp filed the lawsuit before me, so I wasn't even thinking about suing Deion Sanders. I wasn't even, a lot of people I see on TMZ, they say he was just trying to get his money. He was just trying to, just trying to steal Deion Sanders' money. I wasn't even the one that filed the lawsuit. Workman's Comp wanted their $230,000 back, go somewhere around there, from all the surgeries, because when you get hurt on the job, Workman's Comp take care of you. So they sued Deion. Deion could have just gave those people the money and then sat down with me and said, "Hey man, I know Shiloh messed your neck up. You have major spinal damage for the rest of your life. Let's sit down and talk about it like grown men." Deion always talks about, I'm trying to teach these kids how to be on the up and up and in Jesus' name and how to be responsible. He steals the videos. He puts me on TMZ and changes his story. He doesn't want to sit down man to man. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's a code that we still. If we got a problem with somebody or something going down, my parents and everybody would always say, sit down and talk to that person man to man. I called him. I've had people to reach out to him. And even in the deposition, he tried to call me, but I didn't want to talk to him. So even in the deposition, he says, he tried to reach out to me. Yeah, you know why you don't want to reach out to me? Because you're a liar. You're a compulsive liar, and you say, I don't lie. But you are a liar, so you got caught in your lie. And now that I'm getting the story out, now that everything's coming to fruition, with CPS, I think Deion forgot he told CPS that I didn't do nothing wrong. So that was the biggest. I
want to play that clip as well. Mm-hmm. Because the Jordan Ham interviews him, takes notes, provides those notes. They're pretty well documented what Deion said in real time.
Yes. Shortly
after the events with CPS. You all file a lawsuit, and in depositions, it seems Deion walks away from all of those statements. Let's play that clip.
Now, when you interviewed Mr. Sanders, Deion Sanders, he had already talked to his son, Shiloh Sanders, about this altercation. Is that your understanding?
That would be my understanding, yes.
Because he's the one that admitted him to the Dallas County Juvenile Detention Center, isn't he?
Yes.
Then it states, Mr. Sanders stated that Shiloh was sent to in-school supervision, ISS. Mr. Sanders reported that Shiloh became disruptive while in ISS. He indicated that Shiloh attempted to use his cell phone while in ISS, which is a violation of school policy. Did I read that right?
Yes, you did.
And did you tell Jordan Ham that?
I don't recall this.
Mr. Sanders stated that Shiloh reportedly struck Mr. Darjean in the chest and began resisting away from Mr. Darjean. Did I read that right?
Yes.
And is that another thing Deion Sanders told you in the interview?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders stated that Shiloh reportedly struck Mr. Darjean in the chest and began resisting away from Mr. Darjean. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, you did.
Did you tell Mr. Ham that?
I don't recall that.
Okay. But by the time that you gave this face-to-face meeting with Jordan Ham, you had already spoken to Shiloh Sanders about the altercation, hadn't you?
I don't recall that.
You don't recall that? Are you saying you had not already talked to him?
No, what I'm saying, I don't recall if I talked to Shiloh or not.
But if Mr. Ham interviewed you on the 29th and the altercation occurred on the 12th, the 17th, you would have talked to Mr. Ham almost 2 weeks after the altercation, right?
Right.
Okay. Do you know where you would have gotten the information where you say that Shiloh reportedly struck Mr. Darjean in the chest and began resisting away from Mr. Darjean?
The key word there is reportedly. That someone had to tell that. I believe Mr. Ham was asking to give him a description of what I thought happened and what was said to have happened. And I'm giving him an analysis on what I was told.
Okay, and who told you that?
Someone at the school, I don't recall.
Was
who
it
told me.
Leroy McClure?
Definitely wasn't Leroy.
Was it Coach Shires?
Who?
Is it Coach Shires? Was it Coach Shields?
Coach Shields. Definitely wasn't Shields. Shields ain't really down with that character, so it wasn't Shields. I don't know who it would have been.
What's Coach Shields' first name?
I don't know.
So he walks away from all the things that he had told Jordan, and maybe Jordan Ham, and I want to avoid sarcasm, or maybe some white racist that has it in for Deion. I don't know. But you are black. My eyes not deceiving me. So this
I am.
This isn't a case of racism.
Right.
But the TMZ story is what provoked you to file your lawsuit.
That's right.
You were planning not to sue, or
it wasn't that. I don't know what was going on, because I was just focused on learning how to walk again. I was going to rehab. I had foster kids. And I was trying to get my finances right, because now I'm not working anymore, and I had 2 other jobs. So I'm focused on that. And of course, you get friends. To be honest with you, I had friends. Oh, you need to sue Deion. You about to get paid. You about to get paid. I wasn't thinking about that. You know, most people would just, let me go file the lawsuit tomorrow on Deion Sanders. I wasn't thinking about that. He was an old friend of mine. I knew Deion. We'd done things together. So my intentions was like, I'm about to get paid. My intentions were, God, thank you so much that I'm not paralyzed. Thank you so much that I'm starting to get feeling back on the left side of my body. Going to rehab 3 times a week, dealing with my foster kids. I was thinking about that. So, and maybe, I don't know what I was thinking, but I was hoping that Deion reached out and said, you know what? I was wrong.
how can we make this right?
How can we make this right? But he never did.
And so initially, it makes sense. It's like, I just want to be able to walk again. Let me focus on this rehab. Let me see how bad this is. Maybe I want to recover 100%,
Right.
and that will change.
Go back to work.
Yeah, go back to work. That would change what my expectations were. But when you find out that, like, no, I'm not going to be able to do what I used to be able to do, and then they're being a little bit aggressive and saying, you know, I provoked all of this, that's when you file.
That's right. So to answer your question quickly, when I got the call from my friend, he said, Coach, you know you on TMZ right now, right? I was like, what? He said, yeah, Deion's saying you lying about everything and you're faking everything and it wasn't nothing wrong with you. And I had 4 or 5 lawyers on deck. I called that lawyer, and the next day or 2 days later, the lawsuit was filed. I said, oh, this confirms right here that I need to go ahead and file a lawsuit. I didn't think twice about it after this. You lied. And then I had my nonprofit organization, and I lost so much stuff because I had a summer camp program for kids, and I was getting money, and all of those sponsors, even Steve Harvey, I worked at Steve Harvey's camp. His people called me and said, your services are no longer needed because we saw this on TMZ about you. I said, it's not true. It's a lie. It's a lie. I said, well, Mr. Darjon, we don't have anything to do with that, but we wish you the best, but we have to step away from you because I know you're our baseball director at the Steve Harvey program, but your services are no longer needed. And then everything started crumbling.
God, the allegation that you attacked some kid, Deion's kid,
Right.
and provoked all this would make people like hesitant about,
that's right.
oh, this guy's volatile, he gets aggressive with the kids, and look how it's spilled out. It really does harm your reputation.
It does.
It makes it harder for you to do what you had been doing
Right.
for a significant amount of time. So you filed a lawsuit, but right before it starts, your lawyer quits?
Right before it ends.
Right before it ends?
Right.
Your lawyer quits?
Yeah. It was strange because he spent about $40,000 and Deion didn't have any witnesses. Shiloh didn't have any witnesses. Everything was going great. He had called me, everything's going good, John. It looks like everything's going to be all right. And he calls me one day and said, I have to back out. I got some stuff going on, some personal stuff. I said, what you mean? What's going on? I just have to back out. And I said, okay, well, he said, well, I'm going to send a notice to the judge and let the judge know that I'm backing out and I'm not going to represent you no more. I'm not your lawyer anymore. And he said, I spent $40,000 on it. I'm just going to back out. So the judge says, she finds out about it, and she finds out it's kind of strange. And I'd say, the judge says, you must, I'm talking about the lawyer, the judge says, you must release all documentation to John Darjon. You must release all depositions and paperwork to John Darjon. And I'm so grateful that she did that. And my lawyer at the time, he was like, okay, no problem, Your Honor, no problem. So I picked all the documentation up, and I own all those documents. I own the documents. Those documents belong to me. And I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but they took my documentary down from Tubi and Amazon Prime because they don't think that. So I own those documents. Those are my documents and my depositions. I own those.
And so, but even with your lawyer stepping out, you win the case and the judge grants you a very significant settlement.
That's right, $11.8 million, right? So, and that was a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I still have not received any money.
But somehow you sued Shiloh, Lar, and Deion.
That's right.
But somehow Deion he slipped out of the case somehow.
And I don't understand, I don't know what happened, but I know if I could talk to my lawyer at the time today, I would say, what happened? Like, how did he slip out of this? And why didn't you appeal it? And it's kind of strange that you back out and Deion slips out. That's really strange to me. So the lawsuit is on Pilar and Shiloh Sanders. I have the judgment, the $11.8 million. But I know I'm dealing with somebody high-powered, and he's going to do anything he can. Being a Christian person, supposed to be a Christian person, you're supposed to sit down and talk to the person, but he's doing everything he can to get out of this.
Why did you sue? Why is Pilar part of the lawsuit?
Because you have to sue everyone. I had to sue Pilar, Shiloh, and Deion Sanders.
But it sounds like Shiloh is certainly responsible, but the second person that would be most responsible would be the person that said, go get that phone in the name of Jesus Christ. Pilar didn't say that. It doesn't sound like to me, it's Deion. So I could see why you and a lawyer would think Deion's culpable. I don't understand how he got his way out of the case.
Yeah.
And I don't.
And the thing is, I'll say this, Deion knew how bad Shiloh was because he had been to the juvenile detention center multiple times before that for running away, getting in trouble, and fighting and all kinds of stuff. So Deion knew his son was very bad. I knew nothing about Shiloh Sanders. I mean, I probably saw him on TV a couple times, but I wasn't keeping up with Shiloh Sanders and Deion Sanders and Pilar. So I didn't know what type of person he was. And then he said that, hey, John, he won't hurt you. He's all talk. Shiloh's all talk. In Jesus' name, I need you to just go grab the phone and then just hold the phone for me until I get back because he's out of control.
So, I mean, this is where do things stand now? You have a judgment against Shiloh and Pilar.
Right.
They haven't paid you anything.
Right.
Where do things stand right now? And hadn't Shiloh filed bankruptcy, perhaps?
Yes, he did. In Dallas, Texas, he filed for bankruptcy in Dallas, Texas. They closed that out. So now bankruptcy is in Colorado. So he filed for bankruptcy in Colorado. Now, I have a collections lawyer, and we really can't get into that because my collections lawyer says, I told him I was coming on the show and everything. He said, hey, we got to let everything pan out in bankruptcy court, and then we'll go from there. So I really can't get into details about the bankruptcy, but if banks and it's public records, you can go in public records and see what's going on, but I can't really get into it.
I want to circle back one more, and I know we're just speculating.
No, you're fine.
But I want to circle back to your lawyer putting that work and effort in, saying that he invested $40,000, and then at the last minute says, nah, I can't do this. Does he ask you for the $40,000? Does he try to recoup any of that?
No. Yeah, because when you sign when I sign my contract, it's only contingent on if I win the case. So now he never asked me for it back, but it's just strange that usually a lawyer does not walk away from $40,000
or a settlement that you guys were suing for $42 million. You get basically $12 million.
Right.
Walking away, he doesn't get a percent of that.
Zero. He signed off on it, and the judge signed it, and he walked away from the case. So even if Deion is not on the case, why would you back out? And I had to represent myself. It was so close to the court date, I had to represent myself. I didn't have time to get a lawyer. So Workman's Comp and I are standing side by side on each other. And Workman's Comp's like, where's your lawyer? He said, I don't have a lawyer. He said, so you're representing yourself? I said, yes, sir. And he said, well, Workman's Comp lawyer's like, I'll help you out if you get kind of tongue-tied or something like that. And thank God I had the Workman's Comp lawyer to kind of help me out. But I won the case by myself without a lawyer.
But you haven't received any settlement yet. If this is fascinating, and again, because I don't want to make assertions about that lawyer, but it just doesn't make sense pulling out.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but the depositions really tells the truth, and we don't have to make stuff up. Like this story is different because everything is factual and it's from sworn in depositions from Deion, from Jordan Ham, from Sandra Haynes, from me and other people. So it's amazing, and it's really, you can't. Some people might say out there like he's lying. I can't be lying because it's what Deion said. I can't be lying is because it's what Leroy said, and I have the depositions to back it up. So I thank God that I have those depositions because the truth is the truth. And Deion, being the high person that he is, he's probably been screwing over on people before that, because I've heard rumors doing things to people, and he thought that he can get over on me. But I'm built from a different cloth. My parents raised me different. If you didn't do nothing wrong, I will go to the grave and I will keep pushing until I get the facts out, because Deion Sanders, you put me on TMZ. I didn't put you on TMZ. I had at least 9 people to bring a microphone in my face and say, hey, can you tell us about what happened with Deion Sanders and Shiloh Sanders, and what's going on? And I'm learning. I'm walking out of therapy and treatment, and I see a news reporter walk up. Hey man, we want to ask you about what's going on. I said no comment. But Deion Sanders puts me on TMZ, and now they're mad because I'm doing something. I'm putting a documentary out there, and they're upset. Wait a minute, I won my case. All the lies are coming out. Now you want to be like, wait a minute. Don't put that up. Don't put that up. No, you're scared because the truth is out. And I that's why I thank you, Jason, for allowing me to come on your platform, because I talk about it, and I've always talked about it. And people always ask me, why now? Why now? I've been trying to get my story out for 8 years. But
that is one of the things people don't understand. When you go up against someone powerful that's backed by other powerful people, it's much harder to get your story out than people understand. And I'm going to get criticized for doing this interview.
Yeah.
For the show we did yesterday, setting up this interview. I'm going to get criticized because we live in this incredible time of idolatry. Mm-hmm. And Deion's an idol. Mm-hmm. And he can do no wrong in a lot of people's minds. And they'll say that protecting Deion is so important because he's so successful. And he's that protecting you is insignificant because you're not an idol, you're not popular, you don't have millions of dollars in the bank, you haven't been famous forever. I'm not trying to claim victimhood status for myself.
Right.
But I am like, I get, people are so critical of me because I'm like, Deion's powerful. He's not who you think he is. I'm going to talk about it. And, we had some of a couple of the players that played for Deion in Colorado, and they came on the show and talked about how Deion treated them. Right. And that's, and again, I know you only had a cup of coffee in Major League Baseball.
Right, minor leagues, yeah.
Yeah, minor league. But I have covered professional sports for a long time. Mm-hmm. I grew up with one of the greatest athletes of all time. Again, he didn't have the greatest pro career, but trust me, as an athlete, Jeff George is as talented as anybody that's ever played athletics. Could have played Major League Baseball, #1 pick in the NFL draft, could have played professional basketball, in my opinion. But I just say all that to say, and again, Jeff George is a great friend of mine, and I love him to death. But I know what great athletic talent, what it does to your mind and how people treat you. And so I'm glad that you're willing to be in this fight. People won't understand that the way you've been treated by Deion says something about how Deion treats people that can't help him.
I'll say this. If you pick the fight and Deion picked the fight, he's the one that decided to put me on TMZ. If you pick the fight, you're not allowed, after you lose, after your son loses, after all the truth come out, you're not allowed to shut me up and tell the truth about what really happened. You're not allowed to do that. You can't do that. You're the one that started it. So it's in the back of his mind, Deion keeps thinking like, I'm going to keep on suppressing this and making it go away and making it go away. It can't go away. You can't make me go away. So I'm going to get the truth out by any means necessary. And because not only did your son assault me and cause major nerve damage for life. I'm disabled, and that's why I live in the Dominican Republic, because of the weather. Not only did he do that, you turn around and put me on TMZ, and I lose all my sponsors, I lose my contract with Steve Harvey, I lose all of that stuff. I didn't do it. You put me, so you started this fight. You said that I lost my job. You said I begged for my job back. You said that I was a grifter. I never knew what a grifter was until I read on the TMZ report what a grifter was. You said that. So now, yeah, you get out of the lawsuit, you get out of all that stuff, but I'm still gonna tell people the truth and the facts, because you decided to put it out in public, so it's my turn now.
Some people will watch the past two shows, and say, hey, Deion's just protecting his son, who at 15 years old made a terrible mistake. Hey, I would do the same. They'll say, I would do the same thing. What do you say to those people?
Well, wait, let me ask you something, Jason, real quickly. Would you go and take the videos?
I wouldn't do it. Again, I would be compelled to do something different. But others watching may say, to protect the future of my 15-year-old son, yes, I would.
I believe that Deion didn't care about that. Deion wanted to protect his brand, his image. Because if you got videos floating out there with his son shooting craps in class, that's part of the Sanders family. Or if you got videos of knocking the kid out that snitched on you, it was a video of him knocking the kid out. Deion Sanders, Shiloh snuck on campus after being suspended. He snuck on campus and knocked the kid out cold for snitching on him. Knocked him out cold. That was on camera. That was on video. A couple of my friends were like, man, I saw the video before Deion stole it. I saw he knocked the kid out cold. And then the IT guy says he saw the alternate angle, different angles of Shiloh assaulting me. So guess what? The videos were there. But so Deion, my opinion, this is just my opinion, I believe that he wanted to protect his brand, his name, the Sanders family name. Now, you might take it a different way, but that's what I saw.
Trust me, I think Deion is in love with his brand. His brand makes him a lot of money. He's got people believing that he's a great role model for young people, that he's a great father to his kids, and that's all part of his brand. That's how, again, with a very shallow resume, he got to be the head coach at Colorado, and he's making a lot of money. And so the brand is strong, and he's protecting that brand. Guys, I want to talk to you about a great documentary we put out here at The Blaze. Have you ever wondered just exactly how it is that our politicians enter the public service making moderate salaries, but then end up walking away with an astonishing amount of money? Where are all these tens of millions of dollars coming from? And while they're busy ensuring their own earning potential, who's actually doing the job we sent them there to do in the first place? We all learned from an early age that the best way to get rich in America was to get a degree and start a business, or maybe take a job on Wall Street, to work hard and save even harder so that we could make a better life for ourselves and for our children. Turns out it's way easier than that. All you have to do is get elected to Congress. That's why you need to check out our documentary, Bought and Paid For, How Politicians Get Filthy Rich, available now only on Blaze TV. Go to fearlessoriginals.com and use the promo code Whitlock Originals for $30 off your annual subscription. Deion, and I know you've had to give this a lot of thought. You've had to marinate. You've been in a lot of discussions, and you probably know things you didn't know beforehand. Do you think most sports fans have any idea what Deion Sanders is really like off camera?
Well, I was a person to not know Deion, so I always looked up to Deion. I wasn't a Deion hater. You know, you got people out there that's Deion haters and things like that. I wasn't a Deion hater. I love Deion. I ran the same speed as him. You know, I looked up to him. Hey, man. And I'm always trying to uplift black people. I've always done that my whole life. You know, whatever, uplift black people, uplift. I, of course, uplift everybody, white and black, but we went through a struggle as blacks, and we should always lift each other up. And then now, I'm the one that's trying to lift up Deion. He reverses it on me and tears me down, a black person that didn't do anything wrong. So to answer your question, I don't think people understand what type of person he is. He's so me. And I don't have no problem with that. They got a lot of people that just it's all about me. It's all about me. But I don't hang around those people. Just go do your stuff. Go do your stuff over there. You know, I'll tell you this story, and I'm jumping a little bit, but I had foster kids, and I fostered over 300 kids. I love children and helping children out, and I had my foster kid in the class. And the camera was on Deion Sanders. And Deion said, "Hey, John, let me get one of your foster kids." And so I said, "Yeah, that's fine." Yeah. And he hugged them and "Oh, yeah, this is what we do. This is us. This is what we do." And I'm just like, "That's fine. That's fine. You want to put on for the camera. You got one of my foster babies, and of course my foster kid, he was like, "Yeah, I'm on camera, so it's fine." But that's what type of person Deion is. Deion is like Jekyll and Hyde sometimes, he'll switch it up real quick.
I want to and we only have a little bit of time left, maybe another 10, 15 minutes, but I want to just have a conversation with you that you've said a couple of things that I want to just have a conversation with you about that have less to do with Deion. Mm-hmm. Are you a believer? Are you a Christian?
I am, yes.
Okay.
I am.
And so part of what I talk about on this show, we talk a lot about idolatry, and there's all different kinds of idolatry. I turn food into an idol, mm-hmm. into an idol. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm overweight and mm-hmm. paying the price for that. And we can turn our sexuality mm-hmm. into an idol. And it's like anything I can do to pleasure myself sexually, I'm mm-hmm. gonna do that rather than serve God. And one of the mistakes we've made as black people is we've turned our skin color into an idol.
That's deep.
And we do everything so we wake up out of bed and think, what can I do to show the world how black I am? Mm-hmm. And we've made our skin color an idol. Mm-hmm. And so when I hear people, because I used to think the same thing. I'm not sure if I operated ever in the same way, but it's just like, let me uplift black people. Let me uplift black people. Mm-hmm. And what I've figured out at age 56 and well before age 56 is like, let me uplift Jesus Christ. Period, end of story.
Wow.
And
that's deep.
All of that uplifting of anything else
yes.
is actually idolatry, and it doesn't serve us.
Well, I'm kind of upset at you, Jason. Why you didn't tell me about that when you found out about it? Because I wish I would have known that before, because I was just like that, and then the Deion Sanders situation turned and it changed everything. You have to uplift Jesus Christ and focus on Him and focus on yourself. And just there's a verse in the Bible, Corinthians 6:20. It says, "Use your body to honor God." I might not be saying it, but
we're gonna get the scripture up. Keep talking. I'm gonna get the scripture.
And I just know, and
we ain't gotta guess.
I'm not perfect.
1 Corinthians or 2 Corinthians? Do you know?
It's 1 Corinthians 6:20. Yeah, my memory's not like it used to be as crisp. But 1 Corinthians 6:20, I think it says something.
For ye are bought with a price. Therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's.
So using yourself to honor Him. And so I have learned to use myself to honor Him in any type of way that I do. So I'm not perfect either. when I was with the Yankees, I got into the lifestyle of swinging, being a swinger, 17, 18 years old. I'm seeing the limelight. I'm hanging out with these celebrities. I don't say anybody's names. I won't say their names, but
Oh, when you said swinger, I always thought you were talking about the bat. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
the swing, yeah, swing. So into sex, and being a country boy from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in Tampa, Florida.
Mons Venus. I know it well.
2001, Mons Venus, right on Del Mabry, huh?
Yeah, I knew it.
That's
Yeah,
right.
uh-huh.
Being in Tampa, being a country boy, and just seeing all the beautiful women, the sex is thrown at you, girls, and the girl invited me to a swingers club, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. Women butt naked, all of that stuff, and it took a long time for me to finally get that out of my system. And that goes to show you nobody's perfect, but I always go back to that 1 Corinthians 6:20. Make sure you use your body to honor God. And being a swinger and doing crazy stuff, but at the same time, Jason, I was helping the community out. So I would, at night, I would party all night, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then the next day I would be at the YMCA or at the boys club talking about don't do drugs and get your homework out and listen to your parents. And I always felt kind of empty doing that, but now that I've been delivered from that stuff, it feels good because you can't come after me because I'm not doing anything wrong. And I'm using my body to honor God, and I'm not a hypocrite.
Yeah.
That's huge. Because I was being a hypocrite, and still today I'm not perfect, but I was being a hypocrite. I knew what I was doing was wrong, and I still did it. So that's I hope I answered
And
your
so
question.
I want to relate it to Deion in the sense of, and people get upset with me because I'm critical of Deion about his idolatry and about his racial idolatry. He's made himself an idol. He's this persona of Prime Time and Coach Prime and all that. We turn our sin into our identity. And so he's been Prime Time since he was 16, 17, 18 years old. And I've tried to explain to people, like, you shouldn't live 40 years and still be the same person you were at 16.
That's deep.
Any man that's got the same identity that he had when he was 16 and he's still wearing that identity now, that's a man that hasn't evolved and hasn't really pursued a relationship with Jesus Christ while you're screaming the name of Jesus Christ. I look back at the old me and go, I was retarded.
Oh, yeah, right.
I mean, I was retarded.
That's right.
I mean, and that's what always blows my mind about Deion.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but Deion, what twisted me was when Deion would be with his football team and on the bus, and I would hear this loud music, and just I knock your mama up. I had sex with your mama. I was banging her from the back. I shot 20 dudes yesterday. And then you talk about Jesus Christ, and you got 20 guys on the bus, and they're listening to
The devil.
I had sex with, I was popping pills and snorting coke yesterday. That's what type of rap music? Why are you letting your children that you're supposed to be mentoring, but I kind of let it be, but I knew in the back of my mind, it's wrong. Why does Deion do that? I don't know. And I'm not here to judge him. I just know he did it but just like you said, Jason, I'm piggybacking off of what you said. Why are you so old still doing the same thing?
Yeah, well, it blows my mind, and I don't want to turn it into a beat up Deion session.
Right.
I really want to turn it into I want to talk with you about just sharing a perspective. Like, the best thing we can do to uplift black people is to uplift Jesus Christ.
That's right.
Period, end of story. And by uplifting Jesus Christ, black people, white people, brown people, yellow people, green people, the trees, dogs, cats, everything that God created will be uplifted by our upliftment of Christ. And so that's the message of this show that a lot of people reject because they again think, no. Let's uplift LeBron James.
Amen.
Let's uplift Caitlin Clark. And let's uplift Deion Sanders, and that's going to make the world better. It's just not. And there's one way to make the world better.
Right.
Uplifting Jesus Christ, getting people in a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, that's going to make the planet better. And I wish, and that's where me and Deion are the same age.
Okay.
And so I played college football, mid-major, Ball State University, but I followed Deion's entire career. And I used to have a nickname, Big Sexy, big mouth, sexy opinions.
Okay.
But it was a double entendre. I'm big, and I was very sexually promiscuous.
Okay.
Big Sexy, and I, at some point, God was like, Jason, you've made your sins, you made the things that are killing you your identity. That's retarded. And so I just try to stress to people, like, don't let them put any kind of idea. Don't be conservative. Don't be liberal. Right. Don't be Republican. Don't be Democrat. Be a Christian.
That's right.
Let that be your only identity, and watch what that will have you do and make you do. Because it's like when I get cut off in traffic and I think of myself as a Christian, I go, well, hold on. I can't give them the finger.
Right.
I can't yell and scream at them. But when I think of myself as a Republican or a Democrat, someone cuts me off in traffic, yeah, I can give them the finger. I can scream and yell at them. If I think of myself as I'm a heterosexual, I'm free to do anything. Because again, I used to think of myself as a heterosexual, and that's why I would be up in a strip club 2-3 nights a week. And but as a Christian, I don't go to strip clubs because that's how I see myself. And I've let John know, if you see me at a strip club, you got a right to say, ain't you a Christian? Right. What are you doing? And so that's what I'm trying to explain to people about Deion Sanders.
Yes.
That he's not walking. I don't even know if he's attempting to walk a sincere walk. And I know that's me being judgmental, but stories like yours don't surprise me because I've heard other stories as it relates to Deion. And I just know with that kind of fame, and we're sitting here quoting the Bible, but the Bible's pretty clear. Right. A camel's got a better shot getting through a needle than a rich man ever seen in the kingdom of God.
That's right. That's right.
Because I know what money does to you. I've had plenty of it.
Yeah, I appreciate you being the person that you are, because we need more platforms like your platform, because you want to get to the truth, and that's it. It's no. You're on my side, and I'm pretty sure it's other platforms that is not going to allow me to get on because I'm buddy with Deion. You'll never get on my platform, but that's why I appreciate you and allowing me. I've been trying to get my story out for years, and I thank you so much for having me.
John, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it. I hope that the audience enjoyed and understood the purpose of these two shows. That's it, and that's all for us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Waiting for the countdown, coming off the breakdown, standing in line for freedom. Looking for a breakout, feeling like a standoff, nothing in life like freedom. Came in like a fighter, striking like a ladder, making all these moves for freedom. I want freedom. No negotiation. my sister, no relation. We all just wanna have freedom. Sitting on a corner, never been alone. I'm breaking my back for freedom. Blessed, we are living, get back. We are receiving, all deceiving. We all wanna be free. We want freedom. I wanna be, I just want, I wanna be, I just want, I wanna be, I just want.